Hi, my friend. Today is Jelly Sizzle start day. I don't have the quilt though. I'm Pat Sloan and my quilt is visiting the Fat Quarter Shop. And so if you go watch Kimberly Jolly's live stream today, you'll see it there and then she'll send it back to me. But we're still going to kick it off. We're going to start getting all of our supplies together. On the calendar, I have notions. So I'm going to show you some non-quilting notions that I use with the Jelly Sizzle, or will use. And I have a book Nook, which includes sending one of these to you. And it's not my new book, because I only have one of those, so it's another book, but I'm going to send one to somebody. All right, so let's get started. First, let me do string bean, because I didn't show it to you yesterday. I forgot again. So here's yesterday's string bean block and today's string bean block. So these are ready to sew for the third row. So I have, yeah, so do I have, this will be the, no, this will be the fourth row. I think this is the fourth row, yeah. And then I have one more row after that. So they'll go on the end of this one down here. So that row will be done, and then I can sew it to the one prior. I have not made a decision on the spacer yet. I have to get it back up on the wall. What I'm hoping is that having a little break, having played with so many, I mean, normally I just put it up there and go, and I don't, I don't agonize or think about it this much. It's like crazy. I don't know why I'm thinking about it so much. But what I'm hoping is I just put it up there, pick something. I kind of like the orange dot. So I might go with that. We will see. I was hoping to get one that went like, yes, that one where you look at it and you're like, ah, the angels sing and you're like, ta-da, that's the one. But it's not happening with this. So I have a feeling it's not going to at this point. So I will just pick something once I put it back up on my wall, because then I can make those units. I can make the strip with the two colors on top and bottom, with the same color. I want the same color on top and bottom. Some of you suggested different colors, and to me that's just muddying it up even more. There's so much color. I just want to have some balance to it, so they'll be the same fabric. So I'll have to have 4 strips of it. Okay. That is the mail call. No, that is the that's the string bean. I have a mail call. I want to do that first. I'm going to do these other things before we get to the Jelly Sizzle. So my mail call is from Patty in Minnesota. And she found me red scissors. There's more red scissors. Look at this with the hearts. Ah, so perfect. It's got pink and then red hearts on it. And then she found a second pair. And they light up. Look at that. I'm pressing the button. It says press the button. You can slide it, when I take it out of the thing. But it has a little light on there. How clever is that? I'm thinking that'll be kind of cool, for sewing in the dark, because sometimes we have to do that. Thank you, Patty. Mwah. All right, before we get to Jelly Sizzle, one more thing. I want to do the book Nook, and it means that one of these will go to you. So I have 2 copies. Somehow I ended up with 2 copies of Patches of Stars from my friend Adita Sitar of Laundry Basket Quilts. And this is just a beautiful book, as all of Adita's books are. She is a prolific designer and quilt maker. She likes to use tons of different fabrics in her quilts, so they do lean very scrappy. And she's done a few of these books where the front part is vintage quilts. So I want to show you a little bit of that, a little peek at the vintage quilt part, because that just makes my heart sing. I love the vintagey stuff. I love old quilts. So here's one of her quilts. She also adds a lot of applique to her quilts, and she does beautiful photography. I think her daughter is also a photographer. So this is published for Adita by my publisher, Martingale. And she tells you a little bit about what the book is about. And then what I love now is this is the gallery part. Some of these are pieces that are very vintage. I'm going to tilt it up a little bit. So some of these are very antique, like this particular one. And then the other one here, I believe is probably a newer one that she did, but I'm not totally sure. It could also be an antique. They're really great to look at all the fabric combinations. So if you're really thinking about scrappy, so like this is a quilt that's in the book. This is a pattern for in the book, but this is a vintage one. Little Lemoyne stars. Look at this little border on it. Just precious. Little tiny stars. And here are some more that are both scrappy. This is kind of cool. I like that bubblegum pink with it. And here this lattice work. Now this is like the same fabric. Every block has the same fabrics. That's in her vintage collection. This is her quilt, and you can make that in the book. So she's got the directions for the spikes and everything. Here's another one, cheddar, with that cheddar orange. That's what that's called, that sort of orange color that's in there. More scrappy goodness. This is just crazy. Look at that explosion of fabrics on these vintage quilts. Alrighty. There was one in here I want to show you. These are in the book. So these are two patterns that are in the book. So they sort of mimic some of these designs that are in the old quilts. Look at that. This looks, it's called a sawtooth star on point with all of that yellow. This is something I would like to make someday, a quilt like that, where you have all of that same fabric that's really bold, and then those floating stars. She has Lemoyne star pattern in the book, so that if you always wanted to make one, and variations, because the book is patches of stars, so everything is stars in the book. More bubblegum pink and that green. Okay, here's some more. It's really soft, vintagey. You can see a lot of where Edita's design inspiration comes from her vintage quilt collection. More bubblegum. This has got amazing quilting. I don't know if you can see it, but there are wreaths quilted all through here, and then partial wreaths. I mean, just phenomenal. Okay, there's one here. I have to show you this one. This one cracks me up. Look at that. It's got like a repair job. And even when you look at these vintage quilts, here, like they have 3 blocks that have dark, and then that one's dark, but it does have some light in it. But it's interesting, you know, and they made no attempt to sprinkle these through the quilt. Like if I was telling you were going to put these in here, I would say I would recommend you sprinkle them, like this one here, maybe put up here somewhere. Or, you know, you can see the reds. Do you see the reds in this? They're all in the same position, except for those two. They would normally have been red on every other. So every other line is rows of red. It's really interesting to look at quilts and see the pattern the maker did. They made a decision on that. They made a decision on those reds. Okay, and then through the book, here's a glimpse of all the marvelous quilts that are in there. And so she has, like I showed you, the Lemoyne star. You know, go through and make that. They're just all kinds of star quilts. Let me just, you know, here's another one, and you can see online the pictures in it too. There's the one I showed you that had the stars side by side, which mimics a lot of those of the vintage ones. Great big fancy Lemoyne star with other Lemoyne stars. You know, why just do one? And tons of more quilts. Let me see, what is that blue one? You see the front of it. Oh, there we go. There. So look at that. Look at the graphics of that. So awesome. And one with log cabins. Here's another with, and they have a lot of string pieces. So like if you're keeping little strings, these points on this are all string piecing. So you can see the little diagram there. Okay. So what you're going to do, my friend, is today at my website, and I know that you must be signed up for my notices to get my emails that come from when I have a new article. If you're not, be sure you get that signed up. The link is under the description box, but you'll get an email which will send you to my website. It's also linked here below, and that's where you will leave a comment over at my website. And then one of the copies will go to one of you. And when you're over there, I will tell you what to answer. So that is all at my website. Yes. Okay, so let's see. How are we going to start off this jelly sizzle? So here is mine again. And I used the fabric line that came with this coffee chalk. That's the name of the fabric line, is coffee chalk. and I used fabrics from that. And what I did is I accented it with the red, and then I added a little outer border, which at my website today you can download the directions for doing the outer border. So it's just more strips and half square triangles. Now I am going to sew along with my friend Corey Yoder's line, which is called, what is this one called? Cozy Up. So I'm going to open this in a minute, but Cozy Up has sort of creams with yellows and oranges, and this sort of that green. I need more green, obviously. I do. I went looking. I do not even have any green like that either. It's sort of a dusty teal and a little bit of gray. Now first I want to show you the pattern. So the pattern has multiple sizes. I did this size, the 48 by 48, and then I added the border on it. There is a smaller one, so if you just want to do like a little table mat, this one is a great size. Each of the sizes tells you how much of a jelly roll it'll use, or whether it'll use more than one jelly roll. So some of the bigger sizes, of course, will have to use more than one. And if you want to cut your own, like this one takes 18 strips. So you can cut your own strips and sew along. And like this size here is two jelly rolls to get that size, and the bigger one is 4 jelly rolls. So I have the notions today that are useful for working on this are a lint brush, which we're going to look at first, and a drying rack. Now my drying rack, I used to have, it was a wooden one. I think I got it in college, which was a lot of years ago. And for some reason, I think at some point moving or just clearing things out, I had not used it in a really long time, and it was super rickety. And so I got rid of it. Now I've decided that there have been many times recently where I was drying something and I wished I had that drying rack. So I ordered one. So this is the one I ordered. It's white, and I'm very excited to have one again because they fold up so they don't take up a lot of room. I'm not sure why I got rid of it, but there you go. That's the things that happen. So between the lint brush and the dryer roll, you are ready with the Jelly Sizzle. So let's take a look at some jelly rolls first. So I pulled out a few here, and this is 2 that are the same, and then the one I'm going to use. Because one of the things you can do is, I'm going to hold these up to the camera, is look at, oh, and then this is a jelly roll as well. It's a strip set, they call them, where, you know, it's just not rolled up like this, they're folded. So this is a really good one to see on the end. So what colors do we have? We have on here a little bit of green, some different shades of blue, different shades of purple, and a little pop of sort of black. You can see that up here. And so this gives you a chance to see, you know, how are the colors going to play together. Mine had black, red, you know, white, and teal. Okay, so here's the Tulip Pink line work, which is what I'm using for my string beans. That's the black and white. That was the, you know, the basis of the black and white. So this would be stunning. There are little pops of color in some, you know, like here, like so you could pick just about any color for the half square triangles. Here's one that is from Sister Bay by 3 Sisters, and this is very tonal. So it's different shades of blue and cream with a little bit of gray. So for this, like the accent, I would go for like a navy, like pick something in this deep navy to use. This bundle here is called Sunday Stroll, and there you can see reds, you know, you can really see the colors, reds, aquas, grays, blacks. So here you go, black, aqua, little cream. There's a little bit of green in there. So, and then the aqua is there's the aqua section. All right, this is a kind of similar, but a lot more cream. Do you see the difference? It's got similar colors, but this one has a lot more cream in it, which is interesting to look at because that means your quilt is going to be much, much lighter. This will make a darker quilt. And this one I have 2 of them, so if I want to make it again, I can make the bigger one. All right, let's open up the one that I'm going to use. And then we'll just take a quick look at some accent fabrics. So as soon as I open it, the first thing I want to do, all right, is you want to get out your lint roller and go ahead and get all the stuff off both sides. So this will help. You see? Oh yeah. Other side too. You may even want to get a new strip, because once you do this, then you get rid of most of what's going to happen. Like when you open the strips, you still will get some lint coming off when you open the strips, but it won't be as bad. Okay, so this guy is ready. So I have to pick my accent, and I brought, now there is this great Bella Solids fabric that panel that you can get that shows all the different colors. See here, I opened it to green, so I obviously need to order some green. So here's some greens that I can order, solids anyways, but there's all the different shades. So if you have one of these, it is great for trying to match, so that if I wanted to match the green that was in here, I could just hold it up, you know, to this, and they're fairly accurate. You know, this is printed, but it is really, really accurate. So I need to go down into here, like into this pesto color. That color green is what would work for a solid with this fabric line. But I don't have that, so I'm going to look at some other things. I have a light aqua and an aqua that is dusty, and pretty much the same color that is in the fabric line. But I don't think I want to have a matching. I think I wanted a little bit of a contrast for those if I use the aqua. Plus this is all I have, so it is not enough fabric. The story of my life lately. So here's the lighter aqua, which I like. I like that a lot. I think it will go with the peach really nicely, and all the other colors. So this week, this is what you're doing: getting your jelly roll or cutting your own, and finding your accent fabric. So here's a charcoal, like a light charcoal. That might be kind of nice, but it doesn't feel springy. I want this to feel summery and springy, and both the black would definitely pop, but the black and the charcoal, see there, there's still some stuff on it. I didn't get all of it. I'm gonna have to roll that. Oh, I'm making a mess now. Don't do that. I'm gonna have to get a new sheet. But the gray and the black, I think, don't feel springy enough for me. So those will be a negative. Then I have gold, and I like the gold a lot. I think it goes with the yellow that's in these. It goes with the other colors that are in here really well, so that's an option. So there we go with the gold. And then I have this orange. I still have tons of this orange that I've used many times. It is probably a bit too bright for this particular fabric line. I think it just, it's just a little brighter than I want. So that leaves me with these two. These will be my choices, and I'm very much leaning to the aqua because I think that it's light, it'll pop, it'll look really good. There is a kit. The Fat Quarter Shop put a kit together, and it's actually very similar to these fabrics. It's not this line, but it's super similar in look of the blues with a little tan. I think there's a little bit more navy in it. So this is a really great way if you don't have a jelly roll, if you just love those fabrics, you can do basically the same size that I have. The kit won't have my border stuff on it, so if you like my border, you'll have to buy a little extra fabric for that. So for the Jelly Sizzle, you will download your pattern if you haven't done that. You can download the extra border, decide which quilt you want to make. Then get out your jelly roll, because I know a lot of you have probably collected these, you've probably had one. What we're going to do next week is, and then you pick your fabric for the pieces. Now I need to go see, I think for mine I want to do the outer, like the outer border again, and I probably will pick one of the lights from this fabric line to do, even if it might be a peach or oh, there's a stripe in there, or a plaid. Oh, there's a plaid. That's really cool. I have to open that up. So next week on Friday, what we're going to do is open the jelly roll and sort it and look through the process of how you think about putting these together, what kind of combinations I learned from doing the one, here, I'll put it up, from doing the one that I did. You know, what did I learn from putting those together? Plus, if you're doing the size that I'm doing, you only need 32. So that means there's about 10 strips you won't use. So it's exactly 10 strips you won't use. So that means on next Friday, we'll look at this and decide, well, how do you decide what strips you don't use, which is pulling the color. I think pulling the color tighter is very effective for this particular design. Rather than having more colors, having a little less. So since you can take out some, then I would look at, do I take out the cream or do I take out like the gray? Because maybe the gray is not quite as springy, but does it give it some interest? You know, does the gray really help it? Do I need to have those gray, or will they be sort of too strong a pop for this particular design? So I might end up pulling all the grays out and maybe a few of the creams to get to what I need. So those are the decisions we'll make next Friday, and then I will have my drying rack, which I'll be able to use to hang the strips on while I'm sorting them. So I can see, I can lay them all out, take a look at them, and then I definitely have to peel this off and do my jelly roll again. Okay, my friend, go over to my website today, leave me a comment, and somebody will get one of this book, which is just awesome. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.